Night Show. Night Show. Night Show. Night Show. Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, Night Show Live. I'm Ryan Roberts, 99.1 PLR Facebook. And of course, as usual, we have my illustrious producer, Mr. Jim Lauber. Please like, share, comment. It helps us get the show out. The more you like, it helps us get the show out. The more you share. Tonight, my guest is Tim Rockefeller, founder and marksmanship coach from Rock Solid Defense. He's going to be talking about gun safety, getting your gun permit, and home defense, and what you need to know in case a big bad man or woman breaks into your house, and how you can protect yourself. So thanks for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Boom, technology. So you know Jim from the Marines, right?
Yeah, kind of. Known Jim for a little while, you know.
10 years. 10 years we've known each
It's our
other.
anniversary.
How
Congratulations.
could you forget?
Where'd you guys meet again?
We used to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a long
Back
time
in the
ago.
day.
A long time ago.
So, good guy right here.
Undisclosed company we worked together at.
Mm-hmm. And you are a marksmanship coach and the owner of Rock Solid Defense. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, so I was in the Marine Corps 2002, 2006. I was infantry, deployed to Afghanistan 2004, Iraq 2005, and then I became a marksmanship instructor in the Marine Corps. When I got out and I was going to school, I started doing pistol permit courses, and about 4 years, and then I founded Rock Solid Defense about 6 months ago. So we do pistol permit courses, defensive pistol courses. We can do private sessions with people, and then also we can perform home defense consultations.
And you brought a little toy that we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is really great. It's a something you can use that you could teach how to shoot correctly anywhere safely.
Gets you comfortable before you shoot live ammunition, which is pretty important because there's a lot of people that are afraid, to shoot live ammo. So if they can get comfortable with something like that before they go to the range, it's not only safer, but they're going to learn something before they even shoot live ammo.
Yeah, it's a pistol simulator. So basically you take the barrel and guide rod out, and it uses CO2 to recoil. So you're shooting essentially a real firearm that's in a configuration that's 100% safe. It can't fire bullets. And that way we could practice in a calm, comfortable, relaxed environment before you pick up a live firearm and shoot at the range.
So thank you for joining our show. Yes, the microphones were off because I'm a moron, but I fixed it, which makes me
they have our beautiful faces.
Which makes me a technical genius. Yes, everyone can see everyone. Thank you, Chad, for coming back, David for coming back. But Brian T. Shellnut says, I need training learning how to draw from a holster. Do you offer services like that?
Yeah, we do a defensive pistol course. The next one's actually going to be March 25th, rocksoliddefense.us, where you can sign up for that. We do that. We do shooting behind cover, concealment, low light stuff, a bunch of different types of training we do.
So we're going to be getting a lot of questions from people asking you home defense questions and gun questions, of course. What is the most? You said there were 4 rules of gun safety. What are those 4 rules?
Yeah, so I mean, there's 4 major ones. I like the Marine Corps ones more than the NRA has their own as well. They're all pretty much the same thing, but treat every weapon as if it's loaded. So like muscle memory. If anyone ever played a sport or an instrument, if you do the same thing all the time, you get into that muscle memory where you'll never make a mistake. So treat every weapon as if it's loaded. Mm-hmm. Never point a weapon at anything you not intend to shoot. Mm-hmm. So you always want it where the firearm's never pointed anywhere except where, in a safe direction, obviously not at people. Keep your weapon unsafe until you tend to fire, and keep your finger straight and off the trigger, which that's a big one that people that aren't trained properly, they have a bad habit of putting their finger on the trigger all the time, and it's
because you see it in movies and it just seems the thing to do, but if you if you have
nothing
a gun,
makes you cringe more.
As a gun safety guy,
yeah.
Than to see that, right?
Yeah, it's the worst thing. People think the trigger's like a rest of your finger or something, but no, straighten off. Your finger shouldn't touch that trigger until your sights are aligned and you're ready to shoot, and then after that, it should be off the trigger again to be safe, of course.
And where are you out of? Sam Mazinski wants to know where do you operate out of?
So I have 24/7 access to the New Haven Sportsman's Club in Guilford. So I do courses there. I can take people there whenever. But also, we're pretty mobile. So I've got the simulator, and what we do is we'll do private group classes. We have discounted rates for that. And you know, we could actually go to someone's home, bring a laptop. We do PowerPoint presentations. We take the test. We use the simulator. Everybody gets trained up, ready to rock and roll, and then we could stagger people to the range afterwards. That way, everyone's not waiting around to shoot. So, you know, 2 people go at 1 o'clock, then 2 people show up at 2 or whatever, and then everybody gets one-on-one attention at the range.
And that's important when you're talking about gun safety and training on marksmanship, especially because you can adjust arms and fingers and work with them really close.
Yeah, everybody that trains with us gets one-on-one attention. It's not fair to me to have a bunch of people shooting at once.
It's too loud. It's just so loud.
Well, another thing too. I mean, if you're standing in a line waiting for your turn for 25 minutes, I mean, your attention's not going to be completely focused on what you're doing. I mean, you might forget something that you learned 5 minutes ago because you were just standing around for 20 minutes, but you stagger the people coming in, going to the range, so they can get that attention.
Exactly. I mean, if people are scheduled to shoot last, I mean, they can go out for lunch or dinner or whatever, and then show up at the range. They won't have to wait. Yet they'll still get that one-on-one attention.
Right.
You know.
Have you ever had a funny thing happen with someone that was training with you?
Funny things happen all the time, but I can't think of anything. So,
Right.
Well, you know, I've had
Any
Jim
of those
shoot with me, and he's funny looking.
He's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
You ever have it like I see on on the internet all the time? Those videos with the guns jumping out of people's hands because they don't have the proper stance. Is that something that happens a lot, or do you make sure that before someone gets to that point that they're way more solid than that?
Yeah, no, I've never had anything crazy like that because we do so much practical application. I'm a big advocate of learn by doing in a safe, calm, comfortable classroom environment. So when we use the simulators, and we practice a lot before anyone ever picks up a firearm at the range. So they don't even learn. So people don't even learn as much at the range, where that's more of testing what you've already learned in the classroom through all of the simulation we do and all the practice we do. So I've never had anyone do anything stupid or unsafe. I've never had anyone fail, because the only way I'd fail someone would be if they did something unsafe. And, you know, everyone, we drill so much in a fun way that, you know, nobody does anything unsafe.
Brian T. Shellnut, he wants to know how much. And once again, everybody that's interested in Tim's services, you can contact him, you know, after the show. We're going to put his information out there, but, you know, Brian wants to know how much for one-on-one time, how much the pistol defense courses are. I mean, that's something that you could hash out later on. If
Yeah, we'll hash it out, because there's also, you know, especially when we're doing private group things where people get people together, the price drops, so it kind of depends on that. But yeah, well, you know, I can reach out afterwards if you have his info.
Yeah, we're going to get your info out there.
You know.
So,
And you can check them out at rocksoliddefense.us.
Yep, and we have a Facebook page as well, which hopefully this is streaming on, but I don't know if
I could
did
check
that
it.
right. Maybe personal too. I don't know.
And he's also at Facebook. He's at Rock Solid Defense. If you're watching, you're hearing my voice, so obviously you're watching. We have Tim Rockefeller, founder and marksmanship coach at Rock Solid Defense, and he's going to be talking about gun safety and things you can do in your home to protect yourself. Does home safety require a weapon?
No, I mean, I've had people that have set up home defense consultations where they don't have their pistol permit yet, and then you know, we put together a package where the pistol permit becomes part of the home defense consultation. Or I've had people where they just don't want a firearm, they're not comfortable with it, which is fine, because, you know, safety is safety. So, you know, I can show people how to everything from, you know, security systems to deadbolts in the door to different plans to protect their children and safe rooms and stuff like that. Everything that we do is custom to the individual and what they need.
How would a person that is terrified of guns, what would you do? They're terrified of guns, but yet they want home defense. Would you push them into getting a firearm, or is it something that, I mean, if you're terrified, is it you don't even want to approach it?
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest they come take the pistol permit course. I'd be surprised of how many. A lot of people take the pistol permit course and they don't even get a pistol permit, either because they forget to fill out the forms, or, you know, maybe they have to save some money, or they just want to know how to be safe around a firearm in case they run into one. So I would advocate for them to take the course to maybe break some of that irrational fear, because you should have a healthy respect of a firearm, but a firearm will not just shoot on its own. It doesn't, people think they watch these bad movies and they think a gun's just going to shoot by itself or something. So a lot of times when people are exposed to it in a calm, comfortable environment, their fear kind of goes away and they understand how it works.
Especially when they can be talked through each and every step,
Yeah.
Chad Fettig, he commented that we have the castle doctrine in the state of Connecticut, but you and I talked about how you could still get yourself jammed up depending on what goes down. If you ever came into a situation where somebody did kick your door in the middle of the night, you could still easily get jammed up if you did shoot somebody in your house, depending on how you went about it.
Yeah, we have a legal team that helps, that we consult with, because these laws get really hairy, and a lot of people think they know laws, and every situation's different. It depends on you and the person that breaks in and where they are and where you are. There's, there'll be investigation. Even if you're not arrested, even if you're 100% in the right, you could still get sued potentially. There's so much to this that just talking about that topic alone would take 5 hours to talk about. But you never want to be in a situation where that happens, because God forbid it has to happen. It's never going to be good, no matter what.
Right.
Unfortunately.
So with that in mind, what is something that you can do in your home to preemptively defend yourself against whether it be a criminal suit or then after a civil suit of someone trying to sue you because they were breaking in your home and you shot them? What are some things that you can do to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, so with the home defense consultations that we have in the Defense Inside the Home course that we're going to be running, it kind of covers good, things to do before a home invasion to prevent it from happening, what to do during that situation, and then the follow-up afterwards of, Fifth Amendment, what you're going to say or not say, talking to your lawyer, having a plan for all that stuff. It's pretty detailed in what it can cover. But at the end of the day, the best way that I describe security is just layers of deterrence.
Mm-hmm.
So one, if you have a bunch of valuable stuff, don't tell everybody about it. Two, you want a security system, dogs. There's so many steps, and you don't need all of them, but the more layers you have, the less chance there is. Where you can
I have
yourself.
a dog. That's my defense. It's a Labradoodle, so if I get an intruder, it will lick the intruder to death. So I feel very safe.
I like your dog.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
hopefully
your dog.
Jim doesn't break in, because
Actually, I made a mistake. So
like
Connecticut,
laws.
we don't have that castle doctrine law. Do we do or we don't? I really don't know now.
Laws change.
Couple of people are saying we don't have it.
Laws change. A lot of things also changed in 2014 when that law was passed. It's like I was saying, I would love to cover it. It's too detailed and boring. If we start talking about this stuff now, no
Right.
one's going to keep watching.
And no
This is
matter
gonna be the
what
boring
law,
legal
even
stuff.
if it was there or not, you could still get yourself jammed up legally.
You could still be sued,
Right.
even if you're 100% in the right.
Right.
So it's
Especially in
just
Connecticut.
Sam Musinski says, lawsuits galore. What do you think about concealed carry insurance?
I didn't even know about that.
yeah. So there is different insurances out there. The NRA has their approved one. I forget what I believe it's called. Lock Affinity, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to do that. But I mean, even then, you're still gonna, you never want to be in a situation where you have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
But if you have to, you have to. But yeah, insurance isn't a bad idea.
It says, all this gun safety talk. Jim, how do you not have a negligent discharge with that poster behind you?
You can only see me from here up.
That's
so.
a good one, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the viewer said negligent discharge and not accidental discharge. I can't stand the term accidental. I mean, it's anyone who ever shoots and doesn't want to and does it by you're being
They shouldn't
negligent.
right.
You
That's-
broke
it's a
a safety
negligent-
rule no matter what.
Yeah, it's not accident. It's negligent
Right.
discharge. So good terminology there.
Thanks for tuning in to the Night Show Live. I'm Ryan Roberts. With me, as always, my producer, Jim Lauber. Tonight, Tim Rockefeller, founder and marksmanship coach at Rock Solid Defense. Where are you located again? I know we said this. I forgot. Where is Rock Solid Defense at?
So I have 24/7 access in Guilford at a range there and a classroom there as well. And then so we do a lot of stuff there, but we're also mobile. So, we go to people's homes a lot and they get together, either a pistol permit course or a defensive pistol course. A lot of people, they'll get their pistol permit maybe a long time ago, maybe they didn't get the best one-on-one instruction, or maybe they forgot or just want to learn new techniques and concepts, and they don't really know where to go. So we do a defensive pistol course where either at the club in Guilford, or I can go, we go to someone's house and we do the training there with a simulator and then go to the range afterwards. So this way people are practicing everything from grip to breathing, 7 fundamentals of marksmanship, all this good stuff. And then we go to the range afterwards to shoot. So it's sort of like crawl, walk, run, and then everyone leaves with that muscle memory where they could really safely and efficiently protect themselves.
How long does it take to get your gun permit? Or what are the actual? I don't know. I'm not a gun owner. What are the steps? What do I have to know? What am I getting into? If I want to own a gun and have a permit,
Go to your town PD.
No, the first step is actually taking the pistol permit course.
Ooh,
so
yeah,
you
true.
would contact myself or another instructor, and you would take the Connecticut pistol permit course, and then you would get a certificate, and you would take that certificate to your town or city. Unfortunately, it gets a little confusing here because every town and city has different requirements, where some have you write letters of recommendation, some don't. You need to do fingerprints. You have to send checks places, and that's the waiting game for the background check. Then your town or city will get back to you and say, hey, you're good to go. They'll give you a, I believe they call it the temporary town permit. You would take that to Middletown, Connecticut State Police Barracks. They'll take your picture. You'll get your pistol permit. And in Connecticut now, if you want to own a rifle or ammunition, you have to either get a separate permit for that, or a pistol permit trumps everything. So a pistol permit is smart for a rifle, ammunition, anything now, ever since 2014.
Right. We got a question that came in on a serious note. Gun safety with young kids in the house, but you still want to have rapid access to whatever you're going to defend yourself with.
That's the type of stuff that's really incorporates the home defense consultations we'll do. A lot of people, they don't know the balance between having a firearm that's ready, yet having it out of, inaccessible to unauthorized people. So I'm a huge advocate of the little gun safes you could put by your bed. Gun Vault makes a really good one, where you either hit 4 digits real quick and it opens up, or you have the fingerprint ones. I personally would rather have the numbers and the fingerprints because I don't personally trust the fingerprint technology, although people like it. And that way it's locked up where nobody can get to it. If they break in, they can't get to it. If there's a child in it, they can't get to it. Yet you could still get it to it very quickly if someone kicks down your door in the middle of the night. And definitely a light. I mean, almost all defensive situations are low light or no light conditions. So you want to have a light either next to your firearm or on your firearm. But these are all personal decisions that go back to your training and your level of, comfort.
have you found that more people are buying handguns now?
Yeah, I mean, so when Trump was elected, it went down a little bit because people are less scared of their rights being taken away. It was really big during the election. But overall, if you look at year to year, so many people are getting into firearms training, especially with pistols, because people just know how crazy it is. And there's a lot of people that have firearms, they have pistols, they take the course, but they don't really use them. They don't carry. They just keep it home just in case.
Right.
Almost like, people have life insurance, but they don't expect to die.
Mm-hmm.
People have health insurance, but they don't want to get sick. A firearm is your ultimate defensive insurance because, you don't want someone to break in and, do what they do, but it might happen. So a lot of people, they're not even gun people. They don't even tell people, but they have it.
What kind of gun do you recommend for the optimum? I mean, do you sort of pair guns with people?
When people take a course, one of the sayings we like to say is courses end, relationships don't. So when someone takes a permit course or any other course with me, I always say, hey, reach out to me anytime. Text, email, phone call, whatever. If you have questions, reach out, and I'm here to help you. Because, that's what we do in the firearms community. We help each other out. So people ask me questions, and then we'll talk about what might be best for them. It's really a personal decision, and it really depends upon the purpose of what they're trying to do. If you're trying to shoot competition, you're going to want a different firearm. And then if you're looking for something really light to carry in your pocket, first home defense. If I had to, this is hard to say, but if I had to say one firearm is best for everything, I'm personally an advocate of a Glock 19 because it could kind of fill every role. It's not the most comfortable firearm to carry, but you can carry it. It's, not the most accurate firearm to shoot for competition, but you can compete. It's not the only firearm for home defense, but you can use it for that. So the Glock 19, it's very inexpensive and it's a very effective system that a lot of people love, and it's half the price of other really good systems.
Mm-hmm.
And another big thing that he's a big advocate of is, and you say it all the time, you could have a shit plan, but it's better than not having a plan at all. And the time to make a plan is not when your door is getting kicked in. That's not the time to think about what you should be doing. You should already have a plan.
Yeah, totally. Whether you're getting professional help with, someone like us or you just come up with it on your own through doing your own research, you need to have a plan. It's just like a fire drill in a school. I mean, you have a plan, you practice it, your whole family should know the plan. And even if your plan's, like you're saying, even if your plan's not good, at least having a plan, you can adjust the plan as you refine it. You want to have it where everyone in your house has knows what's going on, and that way you could protect everybody.
Right.
Brian T. Shellnut says, and this is a fantastic, thank you for...
Super important.
And
one.
Also thank you, Brian, for watching. I think you watch every single night, and you got some great comments and questions. I think Hungover Viking came from Brian T.
That
Shellnut,
it, yep,
right?
absolutely.
From the very
Yep.
first show. He says, what's the best way to introduce my children to gun safety? And sort of coupled with that, is there an age that's just, there's another comment here that Russ says he thinks that there should be an age set up to 30. So do you have any thoughts on what's too young to have a gun or to shoot a gun?
So it's so hard because, in my opinion, it really depends on maturity. If you're living in a homestead in Idaho and your kids are slaughtering sheep and doing all these rural things, I mean, someone's super mature and
you learn how to drive tractors at 14 and 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody like that might be able to learn at a much younger age than somebody growing up in a, where they're not doing those types of things. So it really depends on the maturity level and how safe you are at coaching and making sure that they're doing the right thing. So it's really hard to throw a number on something like that.
Because I've seen videos on YouTube and Facebook of really young kids.
Yeah.
And especially when you come from a hunting background.
2 years ago in Arizona, they had I think it was a 6 or 7 year old
Right.
shooting like an Uzi,
Yeah.
and the thing went back, killed the instructor.
I heard about that, yeah.
Crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, man. 6. I don't know about that.
No,
But-
plus an Uzi.
An
You're
Uzi.
talking
Yeah, it's a
about
high. Yeah, of course.
a Class 3, hard to get, fully automatic system that you can't even buy without, So I mean that's absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
That's like that's the same thing as having like a kid drive your car. Hey, let's have my kid drive my Ferrari or something. It's
yeah.
it's just
Robert
not.
Wright says, to get a reliable firearm, what should you spend without buying a low-level unit?
Yeah, that's where I come in with Glock 19. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that love SIGs or H&Ks or 1911s listening. There's a lot of great in today's technology, almost everything is good for the most part. But with the Glock 19, you're talking, roughly $550, which might sound expensive, but that's actually very inexpensive for a firearm where it's top-notch quality for really close to a bottom price. So I'm not saying it's the only system out there, but I don't know anyone that's ever had a Glock 19 and didn't like it. And if you buy one of those and that's your system, and then you decide, hey, I want a high-end 1911 for accuracy, okay, great, get that too. But it's probably the most common firearm in America. Tons of accessories for it. So that's what I recommend.
Michael Zernowiski, I'm sorry if I mangled your name. He says scouts start with 22 rifles when you're like 9, and that's true. I was telling Tim before. That's where the first and only time I've ever shot a gun was a 22, and the hot bullet popped up and burned my skin. So
Hot brass.
The brass.
Hot
Yep.
Yeah, not the bullet, the brass. Yeah. See, that's how much I know about guns and
So we'll do a course after this.
yeah, the hot brass was burning.
In the spring, man, we're getting you out on the range, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do some shooting.
We're gonna do some
Your
shooting and
rifle
moving
stuff,
with an
pistol
AR.
stuff.
I probably am going to be going to Rock Solid to get my permit. No joke. It's something I've been thinking about a long time.
This is your guy,
I've
man.
always been not against guns necessarily, but cautious. Maybe overly.
You should be, though.
Maybe overly cautious. I just have no practice. My parents weren't hunters. They didn't have any home defense for themselves except a baseball bat. You know what I mean? So I think in this day and age, maybe it's time for me to upgrade my home defense, especially with kids around. And again, that's the where you have to be safe. You know, you have to have a gun safe and it to be accessible. That's the point. It needs to be accessible and safe, and that for me is where it sort of gets a little gray area.
And that's that's where the consulting comes in. I mean, a lot of people fall into one or two categories. Either they have it so safe they can't get to it. Oh, I have a firearm upstairs and the magazine's downstairs and the ammunition's over here. It's like, you're never going to get to that. Or they might be like, oh, I have something under my pillow, you know, where with today's technology, you can get one of these gun vaults or one of these little safes where you can get to it so quickly. It's locked. Your kids can't get to it. A burglar, someone can break in and not steal it. You can get to it quick, yet nobody else can. And that's really that balance of safety and defense that's really important to have in today's day and age.
So coming up next, Tim is going to show us a piece of equipment that is very cool. He can bring it anywhere. It's a safe piece of equipment that can be used. You could probably even bring it to a classroom, right?
Yeah, we train with this tool at people's homes when they get a group course together, whether it's a pistol permit or like a follow-on refresher defensive pistol type course. And we also use it in Guilford when we do the courses there. So a lot of the training is with this simulator first. This way people become calm and comfortable before they pick up a live firearm.
Somebody asked what range was that? Because I was there when I renewed mine. It was
so I do a lot of the courses at the New Haven Sportsman's Club in
and
Guilford.
that's a private club. Somebody asked
it's a
that
private
too.
club,
Okay.
so I have 24/7 access. But you know, I've gone to other clubs with people as well, or other firearm ranges to coach.
So if somebody gave you notice and said, I work shit hours, can you meet me there at like 10
2 in the morning?
You're
whatever.
cool with that. So if it's by appointment,
People that listen to your radio show and they're up all night, we can do it after the show. It's whatever works for everybody.
Thanks for watching the Night Show Live. I'm Ryan Roberts. Of course, my producer, Jim Lauber. Today we have Tim Rockefeller, Coach Tim Coach Rock from Rock Solid Defense. You can find him online at rocksoliddefense.us and also at Rock Solid Defense on Facebook. Coming up next, he's going to show us his handy piece of gear, and he's actually going to do some shooting in studio right after.
You are watching The Night Show Live with your host, Ryan Roberts. Sponsored by Weed. The reason you're in sweatpants all day. Weed, created by God.
You have it shared on my personal and Rob's.
Okay. So, Tim, please explain what you got here.
Yeah, so basically, this is a real Glock 17, but it's in a configuration where it cannot shoot live ammunition. The barrel and guide rod is different. Well, I should probably speak in the microphone, right? There you go. That's helpful. There you go. Yeah, the barrel and guide rod has been replaced with a different one, so it holds CO2. So it recoils just like you're shooting live rounds, but it shoots a laser instead. And then we have special targets which will pick up on it if you hit and won't pick up on it if you miss. So hopefully I'll hit. You can take a real magazine. You could you could teach grip, sights, all the 7 fundamentals of marksmanship. You could load magazine, rack a fake round into the chamber, and then just shoot at the target. Now, if I miss, it won't make a sound. So basically, it's a great training tool for pistol permit courses, for defensive pistol courses. When we do our home defense consultations, we could actually set up targets in people's homes and then run a drill for their plan. Or, hey, home invasion. Maybe the wife calls the police.
Yeah.
Husband comes over, grabs his child. We do whatever plan makes sense for that house, and then we'll actually practice cover concealment, using low lights, using a gun light such as this one or something else, and we'll do drills inside someone's home in a safe, comfortable way.
Can you show that mechanism to the camera? And,
I can figure out where the camera
right
is.
There.
Can you see it here?
And right on the end there is the laser sight.
Yeah, so this is the laser sight. We put CO2 in the barrel so it could recoil, just like if you're shooting, it shoots a laser right onto the target. So we could practice things like a proper grip, magazine changes, all that good stuff.
Could you shoot the target one more time? Because I finally have the camera angles the right way.
There you go. All right, cool.
Now go ahead and miss. So how accurate is that? I mean, it seems like it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean it's a laser, so it's not perfect. Sometimes the laser's a little off, but overall, if you miss, it's probably you missing, not the laser, and if you hit, it's probably you hitting. So it's a really good way to kind of test.
Carl says that's awesome, by the way.
And we got
cool.
Mike Dorney. You remember him? He said he took your course.
Yeah,
Mike Dorney. What's up, Mike?
So yeah, good stuff. Before this, I had a different system. Is this mic still good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before this, we had a different system where it was not a real firearm and it was shooting a laser, but it didn't recoil. So it was still a great training tool, but it's you could just keep hitting the trigger, and it's this way when it recoils. Although it's slightly less than a 9mm 40 or 45 recoil, when the sights move, it still trains your eye to reacquire your sights, and you could load magazines and do all these other. Basically, it does everything the same way as shooting, except it's not shooting a bullet.
Here's a probably a very rudimentary question, but is there more recoil when there's a live round in the chamber?
Yeah. This system is great, but it does not recoil as much as shooting live ammunition. It recoils enough where you get a good training aspect, but I'm a huge advocate of simulation. We did that in the Marine Corps with what we used to call the ISMIT system. But it doesn't replace live fire. It's a healthy supplement to live fire.
Right.
So it's great for practicing shooting behind cover and concealment in a defensive course. It's great for learning the grip and the stance and the breathing, the trigger control and the sights and all that great stuff. But then after that, you still do the live fire. So they work together. It's not one versus the other. So yeah, it's not as much recoil as live fire.
Thank you for tuning in to the Night Show Live. Please like, please share, please comment. Like I've said, my guest today, Tim Rockefeller, Coach Rock from Rock Solid Defense, is in tonight talking about gun safety. He teaches gun permit classes and also a home defense consultant. Boom. All right. So let's go to questions here. Any good ones? It is a nice system. Eric Conrad says, nice system.
Cool. Nice system to you, Eric.
Oh, man. Thank you, Kevin Regan, for joining. Thank you, Chad Fetting. And Carl thinks that's awesome. And my friend Jimmy Nads, that's real. Jimmy Nads is a huge gun fanatic. And I think he's probably got more guns than I have.
He's the one that wanted to come out with us, right?
Yeah, he wants
Try to get him out.
And Brian T. Shellnut wants to come out as well, I think. So if you'd like to come shooting with us, if you want to get your gun permit, Tim's the man. That's who I'm going to. We got to do this soon, I think.
Absolutely.
Is the winter not a good time to do this, or doesn't really matter?
Winter's the best because you're not going to the beach anyway, so
Well, you have access to the gun club
24/7.
24/7. So I mean, yeah, man.
This is actually usually
Totally.
the busy season. But I mean, I'm a huge advocate of the private group courses because then one person gets their friends together, everybody knows each other, everybody's calm, everybody's comfortable, and then it's just a big fun event. We'll go to people's houses. Someone usually puts out a spread. We're all eating good.
Yeah.
It's just a good time, and then we stagger people to the range. It's fun.
I like the private clubs better because I mean, you're not around a bunch of shitheads that just decided to go shooting and then take 3 of their friends who don't know what they're doing shooting. I feel safer at a private club. I always have.
A public range. That's great too, but you're going to have everybody there with all different levels of safety. Where I go, a lot of times we're the only ones, or maybe there's one other person.
Right.
So, it's less chaotic at the range that way. And then with the classroom, we could do that at someone's house or in the classroom at the club. So we actually travel to people's. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but actually a company in this plaza. I went there and we did like the whole.
You did a group rate when you did it, right?
We had like 7 people that worked at the business. And we did it right there. We did it right there at their business, and then we went to the range afterwards.
Dave Musco says, I have a semi-auto and a revolver. What's your choice?
Yeah, the total personal decisions. I know revolvers are great. People love them. I like them, but I personally am a huge advocate of a pistol. I like magazine fed. I'm Glock all the way. A lot of great systems, but the simple This just the simpleness and ruggedness of a Glock. To me, I just can't beat it. And revolvers are super durable, but I don't like reloading them. I'd rather use a magazine personally.
Do you think that you could get me to hit the target?
Oh, totally.
All right, can we try it right now?
I mean, we're going to need some time for you to hit this target, but you know what?
Let me give it a whirl. All right. Let me give it a whirl.
Don't do anything unsafe. You're going to make me look really bad for everybody. I'm going to charge some more CO2, and let's see if you could do it.
All right.
I think you could hit it, Ryan. Come on. I think you got
You
this.
probably do a better job than Jim.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to get this right. There we go. Okay. All right, here we go. First time doing this.
All right, we went over the safety rules earlier, so make sure you follow all of those.
Fingers straight off the trigger.
Otherwise, you might be the first person that fails one of the courses here. I have a little blue gun simulator in my hand, so you can try to.
Okay.
So finger straighten off the trigger. Start with.
I saw you do.
Are you lefty?
No, I'm right.
Okay, so start. So have your finger straight. Your right hand finger straighten off the trigger.
Yeah.
And then take your other hand, fingers together, 45-degree angle down. Now you're going to hold your right hand with your left hand. Just a little bit like that. Why don't you come all the way up with this hand so you're right under the trigger guard.
Come
So
back
watch.
a little so you're in the shot.
Let me come on. All right. So there you go.
Oh, I got you.
Now thumbs forward on the slide. Think about just like this. See how mine are?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And
feel
now
like
at
I'm
this
learning how to
point,
play golf.
there you go. I'm terrible at golf. All right. So now you can punch out and take this big, if you like good sights, Trijicone HDs are phenomenal. So you take this big front sight here and put it right in the middle of this rear sight.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the front sight and then put your sights right in the middle of the red circle. You're just a little left. So now line these sights, so finger straighten off the trigger. Yeah. Now line these sights right up and then focus on your front sight, but put your sights in the middle of the target.
Awful.
Just low left. I can see the laser. You're barely missing. You're missing
Okay.
by like a millimeter.
All right. What am I left and low?
You're low left, exactly. So line these sights up. It's also hard because you're taller than the target. There you go.
There it
You nailed
is.
You nailed it.
There it is.
Straighten off the trigger.
Oh, there.
There you go. You nailed it.
Yeah,
You got it.
One more.
Okay.
Now I got
Make this one count. That a
There you
boy.
go. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. All right.
Thank you
cool.
very much.
Thank you. See, it's that easy. If
Great
Brian could do it, y'all can do it.
Excellent. I like that, though. It's like instant gratification. So, I mean, somebody learning, when they hear that sound, they see it light up. It's like a little confidence booster.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a I don't know, like a real life video game or something.
Yeah.
I don't play video games, but I mean, it's when you dry fire, just shooting without ammunition.
Oh, sorry.
There's no feedback. You could be way off. I mean, you saw when you were saying you knew you were low left, and I saw the laser going low left. So, like for example, if you were shooting, if the laser kept going high and low, we would know it's probably because you're shooting while you're breathing, and then we do some drills to have you learn about your natural respiratory pause, and we could actually hash things out. So then when we go to the range later, you're already shooting tighter groups, because of the training we're learning in the classroom, and then when you go to the range, you're shooting better.
We have to ask this. Russ McGovern, he wants to know if you're related to the wealthy,
Rockefellers?
to the Rockefellers.
Of course I'm related to the Rock. How many Rockefellers you know? Of course I'm related to the Rockefellers. My dad always said that we're ninth cousins. I don't know what that means.
That means you're broke.
Yeah, it means
Yeah.
I don't.
You didn't
I
get
don't
any
know
of that.
them. Like at
Means
Christmas,
you are
we
not
don't
an
get
oil
together.
Yeah.
tycoon or a steel or whatever.
You're not polluting a lake, and you're not taking over any countries.
We don't own Chase Manhattan Bank. We don't get together with the Rothschilds for Christmas. It's
Brian Liebelt, who we talked to last
Oh
night.
yeah,
on the
Brian's
phone.
back.
Hi, Brian.
He said this guy Tim seems to know what he's talking about.
Thank you, Brian.
The joke there is they know each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But he does know what he's talking
He
about.
does.
He literally just got me.
He put you on target.
I missed twice, right? And then hit twice.
Yeah, 50%. There you
So,
go.
50,
It's
not
better
bad.
than most police officers. Where a lot of people don't realize I don't want to really get into shootings because that's a whole nother crazy situation, but it's very hard to shoot a pistol. You could be a phenomenal rifle shooter, but to shoot a pistol well really takes a lot of work. Pistols are not as easy to shoot for lots of reasons. But in situations where law enforcement are being attacked and they actually fire, I don't have the statistic in front of me, but their hit rate is, I think, as low as like 10%. I don't have the statistic in front of me, and that's these are cops that qualify every year. So if you're not trained, the chance of you hitting what you're aiming at and not maybe hitting something else is very low.
Right.
But people don't realize that. They see the movies where people pick up a pistol and they shoot and hit what they're looking at. It's not. Shooting a pistol is a very humbling experience.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being home on leave before I learned how to shoot a pistol when I was, just joined the Marine Corps, and I shot one of my dad's pistol. I missed the entire target completely. And I was a rifle expert in the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Because no one showed me how to grip a pistol, this, that. It really takes a lot of work. That you could be a phenomenal rifle shooter, but shooting a pistol is a whole different world.
Especially, even Brian T. Shellnuts under duress.
Oh, yeah.
It's already hard enough shooting a pistol when you're target shooting.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you're in a
you're not going to
situation-
get better at it when when you're in a defense situation.
Yeah.
You're not going to be better than when you're in a calm, comfortable range environment.
Right.
It's very difficult to shoot a pistol well. It takes a lot of training, a lot of practice.
Michelle Lewin, she said she and a bunch of friends took your class, and they loved you.
Yeah, that was a good time. Yep. Yeah, we do a lot of these private group courses where they get their friends and family together, and everybody has a good time.
Just fixing your microphone.
Jeez, I don't even know how to talk to the microphone here.
It's not
Oh, I
bad.
got it?
Your face is blocked. And
Oh, that's not bad,
Everyone
though.
wants to see your Coach Rock face.
Yeah, I gotta show off that face.
So this is something that we touched upon earlier, and this is my belief. Do you think more guns make people safe?
That's kind of a hard one to answer. So I'm defense advocate, Second Amendment advocate, Constitution advocate. So yeah, I believe in, freedom to have a firearm. However, you still, people should still be trained and know how to be safe with a firearm. So yeah, it's like the old saying, an armed society is a polite society. You've got states and towns where virtually everybody has firearms.
Texas.
Yeah, certain areas with extremely low crime. I believe it was, I think it's Dover, Foxcroft, Maine, or if I remember correctly, where there's actually a town ordinance. In order to live there, you have to own a firearm. One of these towns up in northern Maine, you have to. You can't live there. I don't think it's enforced.
That's like in Alaska, right? Like, I mean, because you have for safety against bears.
I
and
think if
moose
you're out in certain national parks in Alaska, they say
They
you better
require-
carry
yeah,
because
right.
you're not going to outrun a grizzly bear. Or,
I mean, I think it's Bower Bank, Maine, I think it is. But either way, there's usually towns like that don't have crime. And of course, there's many variables for, you're talking about a whole bunch of different elements here. But yeah, I'm a huge advocate of, able-bodied, able-minded people having firearms to protect their families with, as long as, they're safe and responsible and,
So my personal thought is, if you're going to have a gun, going to the permit class is one thing, but I think that you should be actively using your gun so that you, like you said, muscle memory. Anyone that's played music knows. Anyone that's been in baseball, been a pitcher knows. The more you do a thing over and over and over again, the better you are going to be at that thing. And having a gun seems to me one of those things. If you are not trained, and it's just taking your course and having the thought in your head of, okay, someone breaks, like you said, have a plan, right? Someone breaks in your home, you know what to do. It's not just owning a gun, like you said, we live in a crazy state where someone breaks into your home, you could be sued for injuring them, So,
and that's happened, and the criminals have won in
Right.
court.
right.
In certain places, not all of them, but there's been situations where they won.
So
The intruder won in court.
I think the only time that guns make people and communities safe is when they're used frequently in practice and they're trained, and not just a couple hours. You should not maybe be mandatory, but I think that everyone owns a gun should be responsible enough to know how to use it. And I don't think that knowing how to use it means just going to one permit class. I think that you should go to your class, you should get your hours that you need to get it, and then continue your training.
Right.
Well, it's sort of like, getting your pistol permit is sort of like passing the driving test and getting your license. You don't really know how to drive in the snow or in the rain or, fog. It takes experience of driving to really learn how to be a good defensive driver.
That's a good point.
So when you get your pistol permit, that's just the beginning. You have to practice, whether you're working with someone like me or on your own or whatever. You have to get that practice in to really know how to be safe and effective.
So if we could leave our viewers with one last thing, some words of advice, what would you say? Besides, come take my pistol permit class.
Whether you're pro firearm, anti-firearm, it's nice to know how to be safe. It's nice to know how to, if there's a firearm in front of you right now, how do you clear it? How do you do these things? So if you do have a pistol permit, it's a lot of people, they want to look cool. So it's like, oh, I need the latest flashlight on my firearm. Oh, I just stippled it. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge advocate of gun lights. You could stipple, whatever. But you're better off spending more money in training and instead of having the latest accessory. A lot of people just want to buy something to feel good, but it's, whether you're training with professionals or whether you're training on your own, get out to the range and shoot. Practice, be safe, learn. Don't just buy stuff to make yourself feel good. And I guess that's a big part of it.
Makes sense.
Thank you very much for being here, Tim Rockefeller, founder and marksmanship coach at Rock Solid Defense. You could see what he's got to offer at rocksoliddefense.us. And I'll put it up on the screen right here so you could check it out. Integrated firearms courses you can read, so I'm not going to read that for you. He's also available at 203-SAFETY-5, 203-723-3895. You can find him at Facebook at Rock Solid Defense. Thank you once again for coming on. It was a lot of great questions, a lot of people. And once you get done with this, you could read through people's recommendation for weapons.
Yeah, connect with people that comment.
Yeah, I'm not a Facebook Live expert, but maybe you guys could coach me how to reach out to anybody you message. I want to get back to people,
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone that watched. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. We'll be back tomorrow night with the professor, Mike Lapatino. Thank you, Jim Lauber, my producer. Once again, Tim Rockefeller. And thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.